What's going on, traders? Happy Thursday. I hope you guys all had an amazing trading day. But as you guys can tell from the thumbnail, I had my biggest red day in the stock market yet, right? And a big reason for that had to do with Tesla. Unfortunately, it did dip, nearly 10% on the day. And because Tesla is what it's my biggest position in terms of my swing trades, right? It did come with a hefty red day today. So as you guys can see, right, down over $3,200 on the day. Just on Tesla alone, down nearly 3,000 on the day, right? 2,800. And then my other swing trades did lose me some money as well. But as far as how I did day trading wise, I did trade both SQQQ and TQQQ. And as you guys can see, I did end red on the day, right? Down 1% on TQs, right? Down $100. And then I did make $36 on SQ. So overall, day trading wise, I did finish in the red, nearly $65. And so just a red day overall. And these are my orders. So at the very least, right, I was able to control my red day. So I kept it under a 1% loss. And on top of that, I feel like I did a good job of not over trading, right? 31 orders isn't necessarily too much for me. And so, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you guys where I think I went wrong today, right? And where I could have potentially improved, or where I could improve heading into the future. But as far as what I saw going on, the NASDAQ, right? We were trading at more of a support area, honestly, during, market open and the pre-market session, as you guys can see, right? Anytime we would, pull on back, we would eventually try to form a new high, right? We would pull on back, form a new high, pull on back, form a new high. And so we did pull on back, right, to the SMA line. And so I saw there to be potential for this thing to potentially, right, break above and start to push up again and try to retrace back up to the previous resistance. But unfortunately, with every plan, right, sometimes it doesn't have to go according to how you thought it would, right? And so just looking at the charts, you guys can see the NASDAQ did try to test the support, right, once market opened, but we ultimately ended up breaking below the EMA here and selling off. And so I actually, tried getting into TQs on the way up, got burned a bit. And as it started to break below the EMA and validate this lower high, I decided to get into SQQQ, and that's how I was able to make my $36, right? Kept it simple, it broke below, I cut majority of my position, right? And I ended up selling out actually, primarily entirely of everything right around that area. But once it did end up selling off, right, where I went wrong was I was fighting direction on the day. So although I thought that there was potential for this thing to reverse, I was hopeful in the sense that this thing pushed on up, right? And I bought in. It did break above the EMA, but once it didn't hold and I cut losses, I decided to buy back in with a quarter around this area because I thought this thing was so oversold and we were going to, for sure end up pushing on up. And so that's where I went wrong, right? It was a huge hopeful trade thinking that I was going to buy in near the bottom and this thing was going to bounce the way I thought it would and form higher highs and then I would average up then, right? What I need to learn to do and get better at is not even buying in at all until there's confirmation, right? What do I mean by confirmation? Well, once this thing sold on off, right down here, you guys can see it ended up finding a support and forming these higher highs and higher lows, right? And so, it's definitely more in my benefit to average up when this thing's in my favor and direction's in my favor rather than this thing when this thing is just completely selling off, lots of selling pressure, and I'm trying to hope and predict that I'm buying in where the bottom is, right? I have no sense of confirmation, but if I'm able to just wait for this thing to form higher highs and higher lows, that would really, be in my best interest in the long term because I'm adding to something that's growing in value, right? I'm not adding to something that's losing me money. I'm now adding to something that's growing in value. And so, unfortunately, as you guys can see, this thing tried forming a new leg up and it ultimately ended up getting rejected, right? Wasn't able to form that new high, got rejected, lots of selling pressure occurred. And as you guys can see, right, even on the larger time frame, the NASDAQ took quite a dip, right? So we ended up trying to bounce here and then we sold off and even broke below the SMA line. And so as you guys can see right on the 20-day chart at least, anytime we do break below the SMA, we do tend to end up picking back up. And so that's really what I want to see, right? Are we going to break below and start to trace our way back up, right? So now that we broke below, are we going to start to trace our way back up? Or are we going to continue to get rejected and form these lower highs and lower lows? That is the current trend, right? before we were uptrending, now we are downtrending. It's very clear to see that. And so I don't want to predict and be hopeful of where the bottom is. So that's why I'm going to take it day by day. If this thing continues to get rejected, I will consider getting into SQs, right? But if I see this thing start to validate signs of a support and form these higher highs and higher lows, I'm going to want to get back into TQs. But that's pretty much my game plan, and I hope you guys all, were able to take something away from this video. If you guys were curious as to how Tesla looked on the chart, right? Yesterday it was trading at highs of nearly $300 a share. Today it hit lows of 260 in the aftermarket. So it's had about a 13% move just since yesterday, right? And so that is unfortunate to see, but I'm still very long term on Tesla, right? Very bullish on Tesla. I still see lots of value, and frankly, I think the stock market, right, in Wall Street tends to overreact a lot when it comes to short term news. So that's why we did see this, significant negative catalyst and selling pressure. But long term, I still see lots of value in the company, and I'm gonna continue to buy in as there are discounts and opportunities that present themselves to me. But that's pretty much everything I want to leave you guys with. I will be posting a recap tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. Take care and have an amazing rest of your day.